we are going to be reacting to a game that I used to play, and I actually once in my life said I would rather play that than Counter-Strike, and yet still I stopped. And we might need to talk about that. So let's go to the theater, the wonderful theater. And as you can see, you can now see the screen, and I can kind of jump in front of it. I'm a little bit transparent, but that's what it is. Still figuring it out. Come on. Hey, that's me on the screen right there. Sorry, I'm checking everything is still running 100%. And this is what we're going to talk about. Riot apparently messed up. I don't know what it means, and I don't know what it's about because I don't play a lot of a game called Valorant anymore. And I also don't play League. That's kind of a given. I'm not a League player. But that's not how my brain works. So yeah, let's quickly jump into that. Just move the mic and get myself set up because I moved everything before screen. I moved everything, not just ballistic myself. Thank you over there, Mr. Innocent. Thanks for the comment right over there. Really appreciate. I would like a lot of viewers, but I don't want to do it that way. This is an awkward conversation. Can we move on? Yes, yes, we may. We may move on. So we're going to be talking about the D1 is the only the Score Esports. We're going to be talking about what they have to say about what apparently Riot did. So let's get into the news.
After arguably the greatest Valorant event of all time, Riot has decided to change nearly everything about their game, leaving the entire community divided. Some people think these changes ruin everything. So, is Valorant's largest ever update actually good for the game, or does it mark the death of Riot's beloved tac shooter like some people are suggesting?
Ooh. Ooh.
Alright, so throughout Champions Paris, many people thought we were witnessing peak Valorant. The level of play was incredible, and it seemed like many players truly believed the meta was in a great place. But throughout the event, we heard whispers of sweeping changes that could fundamentally shake Valorant at its core. There were rumors that claimed a massive utility overhaul was coming to the game.
Okay.
Rumors sparked outrage, with many members of the community expressing their concerns. But the day has finally come, and patch 11.08 has completely flipped the game on its head. 20, yes, you heard me, 20 different agents were nerfed or changed in some way in this update.
Damn.
Before we get into the video, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Omen. This year, Omen has been our portal to possibility by sending us all across the world to cover the
I'm not going to comment on this. Go support that.
We were able to go to Paris and capture
I think not the biggest HP fan, but Omen, go support them. I'll back that up.
Gaming potential with the Omen Max 16 laptop. Crafted for powerful performance, the Omen Max 16 is equipped with up to an Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, offering gamers desktop-level performance anywhere encased in a
racing game.
body they can take on the go. Then there's also its groundbreaking new self-cleaning fan technology called Fan Cleaner. Powered by Intel, this built-in feature periodically reverses the fan's direction to prevent dust buildup for absolutely peak reliable performance. And for the first time ever,
interesting.
It gives players the ability to manually
not sure if that'll work.
CPU and GPU for max performance up to 250
like to test
total
HP watching this.
Having to go into the BIOS.
Maybe CNB1, I would love to test it.
Helping players navigate through any gaming obstacle to reach new levels with the Omen Max 16, now available at omen.com. And now,
pretty cool.
Let's get back to our story.
Alright, so we're not going to go over the changes to every single agent, otherwise we would be here all day, but here are some of the big ones. Initiators were nerfed across the board, and each rechargeable ability now takes 60 seconds to come off cooldown.
Oh,
These
that's
nerfs
pretty big.
Will definitely make people value their utility more. You can't just use it for the hell of it, and guns like the Operator or agents like Chamber may have indirectly gotten a bit of a buff because of it. Utility
that makes sense.
To push opponents off dangerous angles. All of the do lists were also nerfed slightly, but most notably, Yoru can no longer use his flashes while using his ultimate. As for the controllers, Astra, Brim, and Viper received slight nerfs, but the biggest change came to Omen's Dark Cover, which now has a 40-second cooldown. Almost all of the Sentinels were also changed in some way, but Vice certainly received one of the biggest nerfs. Her armor rose no longer tells.
I wonder why Vice. Like, why Vice? I mean, I remember playing with Vice. She wasn't... For me, she wasn't even OP for a second. Like, I don't know. I never felt that Vice was an overpowered agent.
when you
Could be
successfully
wrong.
flash on an enemy. Her wall is also easier to trip, and her ult covers a smaller radius. Following the news, some people, like Anders, shared more backlash, suggesting that it might be one of the worst decisions in the game's history. Others
Damn.
saw it as an overreaction to the util complaints from earlier in the year. Now, to be fair, a lot of those complaints came during the height of the Taeho meta, which dominated the early parts of this year. Since
That's
Taeho's
true.
nerf, the game has certainly felt a hell of a lot better. Were changes needed? Probably, but to this extent, definitely seems a bit extreme. But the devs did provide some insight in a recent stream with FNS. They gave a lot of extra info about why they made these changes, and here's one of the biggest takeaways.
Going back to Kuz's point, where it's like, I think this just in general gives us a good baseline to start from, where we can, like how Kuz mentioned again, we can now very confidently say like, oh hey, we can push power because of.
Okay, but the game has been out. Let's talk about that for a few seconds. So the game has been out for a considerable time period. It's not a new game to the market. It has been played, it's been tried, it's been tested. And hear me out, and I'm going to say this. You're not hearing people like, for instance, Valve saying, oh, we made a major change to CS because we're now at a good baseline again. What? No, you never say that. You say, okay, this is the game now. We're going to try something with a slight change to see if we can balance, let's say, the CT economy. Let's say we want to make a small change to the AK price so that it doesn't feel that powered, or that's a bad example, but to the point that I'm trying to make is, how can somebody now go and say, you know what, guys? I think we need to create a new baseline. No, you absolutely don't. The game has been out for long enough for you to create the baseline. That means, I'm going to say it, the game sucked until this point, which I don't agree with. The game was decent. Okay, I had bad experience. Sorry, guys, but since switching to the new computer, the game really wasn't for me. Sorry.
These reasons, I think
maybe I'm bad.
This just gives us a great,
probably.
Ground zero, like you mentioned before, where it's like, okay, who's falling below the mark, who's overperforming.
The devs mentioned that they'll be keeping a close eye on all of the agents and listening to feedback so they can make any necessary changes during the VCT off-season. But patch 11.08 also brings changes to Pearl and Abyss, two maps that were notoriously some of the most hated in the game. They've made it so defenders can actually play on site if they want to, and these changes honestly look pretty good. And if that wasn't enough, Riot has also completely changed the way that gunplay works in their game.
This includes changes to gunplay, near sight vision.
Whoa. Wait, did you just see that spray? It didn't. Whoa, wait, it's not swaying. Wait, the spray is insane.
That's right, Riot is finally making spraying a viable option in Valorant. For the past 5 years, tapping and burst firing was always the best option with rifles, but this is the closest the game has ever got to actual spray patterns. With all these changes, it's only natural that the
maybe I didn't have issues with spraying in the game. I actually felt that spraying was easy.
Odin and Judge still haven't been touched though. Now, to be fair, the devs admitted that Brorg is probably the one that needs a nerf more than the Odin. But overall, these gunplay changes should actually raise Valorant's skill ceiling and make mastering each weapon feel more rewarding. Over the next few weeks, we'll have to wait and see how all of these changes look and feel. But unfortunately for Ascension and Game Changers teams, they'll be the main guinea pigs for us. Because although it's the off-season for the main VCT circuit, teams from these competitions are about to fight in the biggest tournaments of their careers on an entirely new patch. Pretty awful timing. So we'll just have to wait and see how these changes impact Valorant on a pro and casual level. Certainly have the potential to change everything, but we'll make sure we're updated as things unfold.
Alright. There you have it. Don't agree. But I also don't feel like this is all bad, but I really feel for one thing. How dare these guys say the podcast? We're thinking this is going to be a good baseline. Don't. The game has been out. It's been out for 5 effing years. No. What are you telling me? Up until this point, the game was absolutely a piece of garbage and now you need a new baseline? No. That was a dumb comment. Not from me, from them. But if you feel different, you're more than welcome to put a comment down. Woo. Too easy to put myself in the crosshairs over there. All right, listen. It is what it is. I do feel it's not as bad as what it's currently being, quote unquote, pushed to at. Mm. I think it's okay. I do feel there's more to it. Maybe I need to start playing Valorant again.